Creating custom Pokemon for you! Welcome back, everyone, to the show where we select lucky commenters to spin a series of random wheels that give us factors for a Pokemon that we then create just for you. It's gonna be an awesome episode today, y'all. We're gonna make 3 amazing custom Pokemon as always, so I hope you enjoy. And if you end up wanting a custom Pokemon for yourself, don't forget to leave a comment because I'll be randomly selecting people from this video's comments for the next episode. Also, real quick, you may have noticed that I'm not numbering the episodes anymore. Instead, I'm gonna give them titles because what's the point in numbering a series that'll never end? And without further ado, let's get into the first Pokemon. And today's first one will be for Retro Bond. It is crazy how far we've come, but we're still just getting started. But anyways, Retro, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be regular. Nothing wrong with that. And now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get 1, which makes you a classic 2-stage evolution line. Now let's see what typing this Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is going to be the Poison type. I actually really like making Poison types. I think it's underrated. And Poison Electric. That is some very weird typing for sure. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and you do a signature move. Nice! This Pokemon is so toxic, your ex wouldn't even catch it. The first stage of your Pokemon is Radbit, the nuclear frog Pokemon. These Pokemon are said to have originated from a terrible accident, as while they may have just started as simple water-type toads, a nuclear meltdown turned their habitat into a radioactive wasteland, turning them into amplified amphibians coursing with huge amounts of plasma power. And upon leveling up while knowing the move Extreme Speed, it'll evolve into Rattata, a fighter who's just as poisonous as it is fast, and whose unstable energy source has made it so unpredictable to the point where its signature move Poizap Dart has 3 possible effects. As if it's used against a foe that Rattata is faster than, then it will deal 90 damage and have a chance to poison or paralyze the target, which already gives it an element of surprise and RNG. However, if the opponent is somehow faster than Rattata, then Poizap Dart will instead only deal 45 damage, but become a priority move. And if you couldn't tell by the gameplay, yes, we've already put Rattata inside a Pokemon Void and made its signature move a reality. And players should expect to be able to catch it in the next big update. In terms of stats, Rattata has very good speed and solid special attack. And for the shiny, I went with this purple color with blue electricity because I thought it looked awesome. But now let's get into the second Pokemon. But before we continue filling out this region, I have to tell you about a super fun way to fill out your card collection. And that's today's video sponsor, Courtyard. Look, I am not the biggest expert when it comes to collecting trading cards, but Courtyard makes it super convenient and fun. It's a free app and website where you can open various packs that contain everything from sealed TCG product all the way to super high value graded slabs. And obviously the whole shopping by surprise element here is super cool, but it's what you can do after you open the pack that's easily the best part, because you can either instantly sell it back with their guaranteed buyback offer at fair market value, which takes away all the hassle of having to sell or auction off your own card, or you can store the card in their vault, track its value over time, sell it yourself, or of course have it sent to you with free shipping. It's seriously awesome, so make sure to use the link in my description to check out Courtyard, and make sure to use the code FILLERS15 for 15% off your first purchase. Huge thank you to Courtyard for sponsoring this video, but now let's get right back into it. And today's second Pokemon will be for Jonah. I can't wait to make more light types too. Hopefully you get one. And of course we'll start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be regular. There's nothing wrong with that squared. And now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get the split evolution. That's really cool, but every time this comes up, I can't help but get a little bit upset at my PTSD, so let's move on. And now let's see what typing the split evolution Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is the Poison type. Weird, 2 Poison types in one video. And Poison Normal, again, very strange typing. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and none this time, but your Pokemon was already unique enough. Even if you don't end up liking this Pokemon, you have to admit it's totally sick. The first stage of your Pokemon is Psychic, the sickly sidekick Pokemon. This feverish little creature is one of the most frail and physically weak Pokemon we've ever seen, as it appears to be constantly suffering from a mid-grade fever, which causes it to constantly shake and sniffle. And while this does make it quite pathetic, it does not stay that way for long, because it's giving into its ailments that allows it to evolve into powerful new forms. For instance, if Psychic levels up while poisoned, it'll evolve into Sickarine, a toxic clawed hand-to-hand combat specialist. This evolution is able to leap across great distances before ripping its target to shreds. However, poisoning isn't the only status condition that triggers evolution, as leveling up while paralyzed will create Sicklash, who's turned its previous feverish shakes into an electrical jitter, allowing it to run at incredible speed. If leveled up while asleep, it'll evolve into Sick Rain, a dark type that channels the chaotic power of fever dreams, locking the foe into incredible vision so disorienting it can cause them to surrender without Sick Range having to land a single blow. If leveled up while burned, it'll become Sick Horse, who wields all the high temperatures of its previous fevers in its hand in the form of pure fire, which it uses to launch singular devastating explosive punches that obliterate anything they touch. And if leveled up while frozen, you'll get Sick Zone, who's gone from having a cold to the master of it, freezing the water in the air solid enough to give itself makeshift platforms to move around on or launch at foes. And while there's so much to like about this Pokemon, my personal favorite part about it is that there's only so many status conditions. You all can't request more evolutions. Yay! In terms of stats, all the evolutions focus on different things, with Sickarine having good defense, Sicklash having great speed, Sick Range having special attack, Sick Horch having physical attack, and Sick Zone having special defense. And for the shinies, I gave them all reference to different real superheroes, like Wolverine, the Flash, Doctor Strange, the Thing, and Frozone. But now let's get into the third Pokemon. But before we get into the final Pokemon, it's time for the Member Modifier. This is the segment of the show where we take a fan favorite Pokemon from a previous episode in the series and give it a brand new upgrade. For today's episode, I selected 3 of my favorite fossil Pokemon we've made and asked my channel members to vote on which one to give a brand new corrupted form. And the options were Slawsaur, the ultra-violent sea monster, Capsakito, the mosquito-piloted amber golem, or Hydrasic, the combined fossil Hydra. And the winner was Slawsaur, whose extreme proclivity for violence was noticed by the distant evil cosmic legendary, who corrupted Slawsaur, infusing it with the cosmic type and setting it on a rampage through the ocean, as it uses its new haunted pirate ship and kraken design to rip through every creature in the ocean blue. Huge thank you to all my channel members, and for the shiny, I actually made it a reference to Ariel from The Little Mermaid because I thought that'd be funny. And today's third Pokemon will be for Evil Coffee. I'm glad you liked Nervantus in the last episode. We definitely got off to a strong start with the light type. But anyways, Evil, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are again regular. Nothing wrong with that. Cubed. And now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get 2, which makes you a full 3-stage evolution line. And now let's see what typing your Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is the Ice type, not the Poison type this time looks like, an Ice Dragon. Every time we get the Dragon type is obviously awesome, so that's great. And the last step, before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and none this time. Getting caught by this Pokemon is a total ski-ill issue. The first stage of your Pokemon is Frostak, the sneaky snowman Pokemon. This snowy serpent is known to wrap itself around tree stumps, giving it the appearance of a friendly snowman, luring unsuspecting people and Pokemon in before suddenly uncoiling and turning the Christmas enthusiast into a frozen meal. And if you're thinking, that's so stupid, I would never be fooled by such a silly trick, as soon as I got close, I could tell it was a Pokemon. Well, what you failed to consider is the entire surrounding ground is its evolution. Upon reaching level 38, it'll evolve into Slowpoke, a much larger and flatter beast who lays completely flush to the frozen environment of steep mountain slopes, allowing the several snowy henchmen on its back to feast on anything unfortunate enough to slide down. And if you're thinking, that is so stupid, I would never get close to some creepy snowmen when going down a huge slope, well, what what you fail to consider is the slope itself. Upon reaching level 45, it'll evolve into Slow Prowl, a kaiju-sized serpentine dragon that's so large it can easily be mistaken for an entire ski slope, and houses many of its own pre-evolutions all along its body. And if you're thinking, that's so stupid, I would never even go skiing, well, what you fail to consider is that that's actually it. In terms of stats, Slow Prowl has absolutely insane HP and really good physical defense, but it also has some really low stats. And for the shiny, I went with this yellow color as a reference to Yellow Snow and Golden Carrot. If you liked today's episode, make sure to check out all the other episodes of the custom Pokemon series that can be found in this playlist. And as always, huge thank you to all the artists that brought today's Pokemon to life. They can all be found in the description, so make sure to go check them out. And I'll see you all in the next episode, but until then, peace